Warning: the Lobo Show contains adult content, crude humor that may go against your religion, ethics, and morals. A perspective point of view you may not find your own. Viewer discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, please put the kids and the children away. This show is for mature audience only, adults audience, hopefully. This is the Lobo Show with me, your host, the Lobo. And with me, as always, my producer, Heapsack. And now we're here to tackle the daily topical events that hits hard with close to what not only America, but to the whole world, ladies and gentlemen. And we over here in America, it's like near the 4th of July weekend. We have 4th of July this Wednesday, I believe, if I'm correct. And 4th of July is kind of a big holiday here. Kind of, I'm going to say probably one of the top 3 or 4, right? America's independence, if you will. America's holiday. The day where it's okay to throw barbecues, eat as much as you want, drink as much as you want. Head and hell, blow your fingers up if you're playing with fireworks over there. Huh? You know, some states are legal, some states aren't. But there's still always fireworks on 4th of July. It's American tradition, damn it. And this is what we go for, right? But obviously, it's not all about America. This is the Lobo Show. We like to be universal in terms of our topics and what we talk about. And there's nothing more universal right now than the World Cup. Right now, I know I touched a little bit on this subject last week, just a little bit, just a tad, and I know there's some other people that I really respect, fans of the Lobo Show who go, "Hey, Lobo, you're European. We love to hear your take on the World Cup," and I'll give you my take on the World Cup right quick, you know. And I'm going to tell you this: it's not going to be articulate or whatever that word is. I'm not going to articulate a great point on the World Cup. I'm going to give you the average Joe blue collar guy perspective on the World Cup. And this is my take, right? Obviously, we know the great history of the World Cup. It's been going on since the 30s. I mean, they finally organized, because there was always wars going on and you really couldn't do this shit. And in the 30s, they organized, like, hey, let's have this tournament of the greatest players around the world, of the greatest, countries, with the best players around the world, have a tournament where they could come in and let the fucking best country win. And not only that, this tournament is going to be so prestigious. It's going to be so great that it's going to be every 4 years. Not like, oh, if it's every year, it's like, what big whoop and shit, right? Who gives a shit? Every year, it doesn't really mean nothing. But it's every 4 years, and the team gets together. And no matter what, no matter what, the players are playing in what league. They're going to be playing in Argentina or in England or these other leagues in Spain. But in the World Cup, they get together and play for their country. And that's a great thing, I guess. It's a great thing, but I feel, in some sense, it's this thing where I know I get it. People are just like, okay, this is great. It's just sportsmanship. But it's a decisive thing where it's like country versus country. Let the best country win. It's almost like modern day warfare, but nobody dies at the end. At the end, you can shake hands and say, oh, yeah, great job. You guys pulled this one out, But the thing is with me, I love the nostalgic. I'm a historian. I feel like I'm a historian at heart. I love the nostalgic for things. I love the fact that, different countries play from different around the world and let the best team win. And, and even if they don't win, you still see that great player from that great team that tried, and I'm just like, that's all good and everything. But I don't know, man, it just won't hit over here in America. I won't never do it justice. I love the nostalgia. I like the Maradona, the hand of God. I love the fact that, like how, when, Brazil doing their thing, and at one point they had this thing: if you had a dynasty, if you won 3 World Cups, you get an actual, like, you had the trophy, right? Like, you would keep that trophy, and they would have to remake another trophy. because you won 3 times, and I believe Brazil done it, Italy done it, in Germany. But I mean, after a while, they took that rule out. There was like they have the standard World Cup trophy now, the standard World Cup trophy. And there's many histories of many great countries that have gone in, and it's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not America's thing. It's not North America's thing. This is something that's just like, I don't know. It's not something that I would think that Americans, even if they won, I don't think they're like, okay, Americans would cheer for anything because America wins, just like the Olympics, another, another team sports, another team or a sports spectrum that's done every 4 years. But, like I said, this World Cup, I don't think I'm done with this thing. I think we should touch up on it a little bit every week in some sense. And it generates billions of fucking dollars. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fucking investors out there that, who are putting a lot of money in this thing. And I mean, you want to talk about American or foreign, domestic, if you will. There's a lot of people that are putting money into this thing, this World Cup thing. And I told you, I can't do this any justice, but I can talk about the money. And that people could say how, it's not as popular that it is in North America than it is in every country. But hey, when it comes to this every 4-year things, just like the Olympics, there's every big, Fortune 400, 500 club that are trying to get hands on this World Cup thing or the Olympics for advertising. It's a big investment thing. Zach, I mean, here's the thing. I know you carry a briefcase everywhere you go. I know you're an investor. I know you like to play the market. I see you do it all the time. I mean, are you invested in this World Cup thing at all? Is this thing generating kind of money for you?
It doesn't have my interest. No.
Not at all, really. Well,
nope.
I don't blame you. Listen, I like the camaraderie of it. I like the fact that they come out there representing their country. They drop whatever professional league they're in, and they're in there. They're playing their national anthem, their country's anthem in the beginning of the game, and they fucking go hard out there, man. I do respect that when it comes down to it. And I do respect the back in the days of the stories you hear of all the greats and shit. Not to say that I do now, but I do feel like a lot of these guys do flop around. It's just not like something that I don't think that Americans get into. Americans are into the full contact sports. And I know people say, what about baseball? That's not as full contact, but it can be. People can get hurt. People get beaten all the time. They get thrown at their head at times with the baseball, But in terms of investment, in terms of the money and shit, Zach, you don't see any revenue coming out of this World Cup thing? I mean, I'm pretty sure you do, though, right?
Yeah, there is, but I'm just not interested in it. I have my money involved in other places.
Really? Really? Well, yes. I'm curious because I'm curious now because you're a fucking finance guy. Dude, I'm telling you, around here, people don't know, you're here fucking 5 days a week, probably 6 days a week sometimes, over 40. I see you around here. You always got that briefcase. You always got the calculator and shit. I'm not being stereotypical. You know what I mean? This is my boy, Heapsack. I'm Lobo. So I'm here saying, maybe, I'm a finance guy too myself. I mean, maybe you can tell me, well, what are you indulging in these days when it comes down to the finances?
Well, it's funny you ask. I have invested in WWE. In the moment, yeah, it's
WWE. What's that?
What do you mean? What's that?
What the wrestling?
That is? Yeah, that's wrestling.
The wrestling WWE. I thought you were like talking about like some. What the fuck? So you're putting your money on that. You're putting your money into WWE right now. This is what the Heapsack is putting his money in his portfolio. This is in his portfolio.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Hold on. Before you get at
because I know you're a sharp guy. I know you know your finances and shit.
Before you get any ideas. The business isn't where it was, 20 years ago, right. But it still draws money. You see, Vince McMahon just signed a deal with Fox for 5 years, just a little over $1 billion. Okay. And he just put in over $500 million into that XFL. So there's money going into other investments. Vince McMahon, he knows what he's doing. He's been a billionaire for a long time. And he's really throwing his cash around.
Yeah, he's throwing his cash around. But this XFL thing, I don't think that's gonna do anything.
It failed the first time, but if he's throwing half of $1 billion into it, maybe he knows something that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I think I'm gonna risk it for a biscuit with this one. I think I'm gonna go with him.
You're gonna stay with the shit, right? No, look, man. When it comes down to the XFL thing, I don't know if that's gonna. I heard about it. You know what I mean, dude? And like, when you said WWE, you kind of just threw me off. Of course, I heard of it, but it's like I don't. I don't believe that anybody's gonna watch football in North America, man. That's not the NFL. If it's not the NFL, nobody's gonna fucking watch it. And if they want to pull off this thing, well, we're gonna come off in the summer. You know what I mean? This can be like people want to watch football in the summer. I don't think so. I think that when people are done with football, they're done with football. They'd rather watch baseball or other professional sports that's in that comes on during the summer, such as like the World Cup situations or the Summer Olympics when they do come around every 4 years. But like I said, man, when it comes to investing, I did hear that they said they made like $1 billion move. That's pretty good. But I don't know if this WWE, when it comes down to it, man, is gonna surpass the UFC in some sense. I know you're saying. I always say this a lot of times. You're a fighting guy, right? I mean, but when it comes down to it, though, right? This WWE stuff is for kids, and the UFC, man, it's like professional boxing is bigger than professional boxing. Am I right?
I mean, it's two different entertainments. You can't really compare the two because one's fake and one. But the way I look at it is wrestling was here before MMA. Professional wrestling. May I just say?
Right. Yeah,
so
but
it's like. I mean, and a lot of money was generated.
But here's the thing, though, right? You had professional wrestling back then, right? And you had like Hulk Hogan, like all these other guys. Like, I mean, does that make money? I mean, is anybody making more money than Hulk Hogan was making in the 80s?
Well, nowadays the wrestling business, like I said, it's not where it was 20, 30 years ago. It's just not, and it probably won't be for a long, long time. But like UFC, they don't really make money unless a big name is fighting, a Conor McGregor or a Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? Those type of names. Yeah. They might be worth more than WWE, but they don't really.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, right? Now, like I said, we're just talking numbers here, and this is a little interesting to me. But I would assume that a Conor McGregor pay-per-view or like a big fight, like you said, they had like UFC 200, that generates more. Am I right or wrong, though? That pay-per-view would generate more money than they like 3 or 4 of their pay-per-views. Am I right, or it's like
no,
am I wrong on the numbers?
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Now, like I said, the big question is when people talk about these wrestlers, it's like, oh, are they athletes and are like these guys are phonies? We're not gonna go there, pal. Like, I'm absolutely, when I was a kid, absolutely a fan of the older nostalgic shit of the wrestling. But when it comes down to it now, though, dude, it really is like so many options of, like getting like the real shit in front of you. I don't, you know what I mean? Just like with the XFL thing that you mentioned earlier. I don't know why would anybody would watch XFL as opposed to the NFL. Now I know the first time they did that, they did the hooky, like the kind of like the funny shit. It was like, oh, on 4th down, you gotta go for it. Instead of a kickoff, they do some shit where they gotta have the like people. They had like the football and the 50-yard line, and people went off after it, and it was like some stupid shit. People got hurt for it. So I don't know if they're gonna still continue with the zany fucking bullshit that they did in the beginning, but I don't know if it's gonna rock and rival NFL in any way, man. I don't know about that.
Let me ask you a question though. Do you think the age has gotten to Vince's head?
Absolutely.
$500 million,
right?
That's a lot of money.
It is, man, and that's a lot of money, man. And here's the thing, I kind of get it in a way because it's like
you make a point. You do.
No, I kind of get it when he goes like, if I'm gonna invest this money, I'm not gonna invest this money into more wrestling. You know what I mean? Let me venture out to something different. But I mean, I don't know if football is a thing. Like, it's weird. Like, maybe it's weird, right? I would suggest if he did some kind of off basketball league or some kind of off hockey league or some other shit. I don't know. But this football thing, man, I don't know, man. I don't know, especially now. I think football's in decline. It's, I'm just saying,
but I think wouldn't that be the good time? Like it would be the good time for it. If the NFL is, going down in popularity, maybe he could bring something new. Right. Maybe that's why he's throwing all this money and all this attention. Who knows?
It could be that,
But
or
I know
it
that.
could be that, or it could just he just doesn't want to give his kids any money when he leaves his will and shit. He's like, fuck them, they didn't deserve that much. But I mean, you know what I mean? It's like to me, I don't know. Like I said, when it comes down to that, um, professional sports will always be better than minor league sports, no matter what. I don't care. There'll never be anything to me, and I think that's the goal of Vince McMahon with this whole XFL thing. I think what he's trying to do is like, hey, I think that like we're finally gonna have some kind of league that's a minor league that will surpass the professional league. Now, people could talk about the AFL or the ABA back in the 70s when it comes down to it. But when it comes down to it, they fucking folded under the establishment. You know what I mean? You can have a popular league that's not considered the professionals, but you know what I mean, dude? Not in this generation. I don't see it happening, dude. I don't know. In terms of your investment, Zach, I hope it pans out for you, pal.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lobo Show. We went off this rant here, and I don't know. People like, you didn't finish talking about the World Cup. You know what I mean? I don't know where to go from there, but I do know where to go from here, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, the segment that everybody's been waiting for, the nightly news with the heap sack.
WINS, WINS HD, WWFS HD3, New York. All news, all the time. This is... You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, June 29th, 2018, 85 degrees in New York City, and this is the Nightly News with the Sack. Annapolis shooting suspect had long-running dispute with newspaper by the New York Times. Gerard Ramos, who the authorities say used a shotgun to blast his way into the Capitol Gazette newsroom on Thursday, killing 5 people and wounding 2 others, had a long-running dispute with the news organization. He had previously made general threats against the community newspaper company over social media, including some as recent as Thursday, said William Krempf, the acting police chief. Mr. Ramos, 38 years old, was arrested after the attack. He was found hiding under a desk. He was charged on Friday morning with 5 counts of first-degree murder. As recently as 2012, Mr. Ramos worked for the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics. He has a degree in computer engineering. His feud with the Capitol, the chain's daily newspaper, apparently began with a column in 2011 that detailed his harassment of a high school classmate. After Mr. Ramos reconnected with the classmate in 2009, his emails to her soon turned venomous. He seems to think there's some sort of relationship here that does not exist, the woman told the judge, according to court documents in a harassment case she brought against Mr. Ramos. I tried to back away from it, and he just started getting angry and vulgar to the point I had to tell him to stop. After she told him not to contact her again, Mr. Ramos wrote in a 2010 email that the woman should go hang herself. Weeks later, the woman was put on a probation at the bank where she worked. A supervisor told her it was because Mr. Ramos had sent an email and had also called the bank telling managers that the bank should fire her. A judge gave Mr. Ramos a 90-day sentence, but suspended the jail time instead. Mr. Ramos was granted probation before judgment. He was ordered not to contact the woman and to continue getting therapy. Not long after, the Capitol published the column that apparently fueled his anger. Mr. Ramos filed a lawsuit against the owners of the Capitol in 2012, claiming it had defamed him in reporting that Mr. Ramos had pled guilty to a misdemeanor criminal harassment charge. Months later, he filed a fuller complaint alleging invasion of privacy, but the lawsuit was dismissed by a judge the next year because Mr. Ramos was unable to describe how he had been harmed by the newspaper article. Mr. Ramos, who represented himself in the case, appealed the decision, but in 2015, an appellate court affirmed the lower court's dismissal of the lawsuit, stating that Mr. Ramos showed little knowledge of defamation law and seemed to have not learned his lesson. Tom Marquardt, a former executive editor and publisher at the newspaper, said Thursday night that he had long feared Mr. Ramos might resort to a violent act against the newspaper. I said at one time to my attorneys that this guy was going to come and shoot us, Mr. Marquardt said. I was concerned on my behalf and on behalf of my staff that he was going to take more than legal action.
Well, you know what? This guy's a fucking cool piece of shit. How many fucking times, dude? You know what? How many times did on the Lobo show? How many times I can count on fucking 4 fucking hands over here that we have to do a fucking story about some asshole who does some shooting and shit. It's getting fucking ridiculous. It's like, I mean, come on, man. Same old story, man. The guy's gonna probably plead insanity. You know what I mean? And they say the guy has a degree and shit. Get the fuck out of here. You know, it's like, I mean, how many times did the people have to point out potential shooters out there? They go, oh, you know, this fucking guy, I didn't, this is the kind of guy who can shoot up his school. This guy's a fucking sociopath. This guy's a loser. I'm telling you, keep your eye on him. And then they don't keep their eye on him. And this guy ends up doing that stupid shit. Get the fuck out of here. Anybody who harass or stalk girls is a pussy. I'm telling you that right now. Anybody out there who doesn't have the balls, like, oh, you know, I know this girl, I went to high school with her and I had her on Facebook and she used to be my friend or some shit. And then like you're stalking her, but you're not saying hello. You're a fucking pussy, man. If I'm alienating people, then fuck it. So be it. That's kind of what I do here. That's why, you know what I mean? I'm going to eventually end up having 0 subs consistently, 0 views because people are not going to like the shit the fuck what I'm telling you. And it's the fucking truth. He's gonna fucking plead insanity. These fucking pussies, and you know, people talk about like bipartisanship all the time. Like, hey, we know we should get like together on these things. Now, nobody's talking about banning guns or some shit, but I think that we should kind of like, if you like check yourself in, or anybody's checked into a mental asylum in some sense, and I'm not saying that we should treat them like criminals and shit, but god damn it. They should be on the fucking radar as soon as the minute they check out, man. I cannot fucking stress that enough, dude. Like, I totally believe that. I mean, enough with these fucking shootings and shit. Now, the people go, oh, yeah, the guns and the guns and the guns and shit. Enough with the fucking guns. We know what the fuck it is. These fucking idiots and shit out there. Check themselves in the mental ward. And they're fucking free to go. And then, you know, that's it. They're just walking around aimlessly. Fuck that, I say. You know what? No, I'm just saying. Listen, I know people. Oh, this is hate. This is not hate speech, man. But I really feel that maybe we should start fucking gathering these fucking people up. These fucking people who got mental problems and drug fucking problems and shit, and just put them in a fucking mandatory ward, if you will.
You know, you bring up a very, very interesting point that a lot of people don't think about because the idea of a nut house doesn't really exist anymore. You know, we've all watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or what have you.
And no, I just want to say this, Zach, not to cut you off, but those things were horrible in some sense, right? They go like, oh, they were very bad. They treated a lot of people who had some kind of illness. They made them, they deemed them non-curable. And here's the thing, right? I think that we have enough technology in some sense or enough know-how where is it curable? Absolutely not. I don't think it's fucking curable. I think that it is a disease just like anything else, even like alcoholism, right? If you struggle with alcoholism and you say you're like, I'm 30 years sober, but still though, you're like 30 years. That's 30 years of me urging for a drink. Or people who's fucking drugs, like off the drugs. Like, yes, still, you know, it's one of those things, you know, the addiction never dies. It's always still there. So I'm just saying though, like, but when it comes down to this shit though, dude, like like when it comes down to people, like they're fucking, there's a lot of people that are nuts. I don't know where the fuck they're coming from. There's a lot of people, I guess technology, just people feel like they're fascinated being some kind of shooter or some kind of like asshole who has no life and they want to make a name for themselves in some way. We're living in this generation more like in that kind of era more than ever. So to me, dude, I feel like I think I think that these guys just don't come out of nowhere, in my opinion. I feel like there's a history of some type of mental illness from a long time, just like with any of these guys. There's always some type of, you know what I mean? Maybe if they checked into a mental asylum in some sense, but there are people who can vouch for that they have mental illness. And I think that we're living in this world where there's a lot of that's going on right now. And I feel like, I mean, we should kind of like, I don't know, it's like a, it's like a red flag. We should do something
Yeah,
about this.
I mean, the way I look at it is the fact that there's no more places like psych wards or whatever have you. There's these cities now that have these people that have extreme mental health issues. Like you take a city, for example, San Francisco. You go to San Francisco, yeah, it sounds fun and loving, but San Francisco is a really dangerous place. A lot of homeless people that have mental issues, and they don't know what to do with them, so those people are stuck there, and it's yeah, there's a lot of places like that.
And what do you do? What do you do, right? For an example,
I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, right? Now, and here's the thing: I'm not asking you to answer this and shit like you know the answers, but it's true. It's like rhetorical question. It's like, what do you do? Like a guy like Kurt Cobain, right? We love music. You love music. You know what I mean? We love, you love Audio Slave and shit. Chris Cornell. That's your fucking hero, right?
Of course.
I loved Kurt Cobain and shit growing up as a youth, right? But what do you do with a person who has a mental illness who just wants to kill themselves and they have no other option? Like, no, dude, I just want to die. I want to die. And everybody stops and they put him in rehab. They put him in different places. And as soon as the guy, all he's thinking is like, I just want to get out of here and kill myself. I just want to get out of here and kill myself. And there's no helping these people. It's just like, what do you do to that? I mean, that's a mental illness that you cannot combat. And I feel like we should think about if that's their wish. If that's their wish and there's no talking them out of it, I think that we should think about that seriously. Because we can lock somebody up in the mental ward and pump them full of bullshit drugs all day. And then, I mean, is it gonna make them stop that? I don't know, Zach. Is that a rhetorical? Are we going too far here on that subject? Or
I think antidepressants and stuff, they do work, but I don't know. I mean, everybody's different. Like that sounds cliche, but I really do believe that some people are more prone to depression than others. Like some guy can really be down on his luck, having a really rough time, and it might not seem so bad to him. And some guy might have it all, but I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not. I'll tell you this though, man. In terms of the drugs, like I don't, like I said, I've never been a person in terms of the antidepressants. I never used any of those, and I've been depressed many a times, like anybody else. Who doesn't get the fucking blues? But it's like I just never believed in those man-made pills and shit, man. I'm an all-natural guy, Sack. When it comes down to that, let's move on from that though. Fucking shit, bullshit.
The FDA just opened the door to transforming marijuana policy by the Washington Post. The Food and Drug Administration did something entirely routine and completely unprecedented Monday. It approved a drug called Epidiolex. What makes this move historic, you may ask? For the first time, the agency approved a cannabis-based medicine. The FDA has previously approved a synthetic cannabis medicine, but Epidiolex is different. It is manufactured from plant matter, a chemical compound in the cannabis plant called CBD. Manufactured by GW Pharmaceuticals, flies in the face of decades of political rhetoric, public policy, and the legal standards underpinning cannabis prohibition. With this decision, public officials can dramatically change the manner in which the U.S. government engages with cannabis. The question remains, will the government take this potentially transformative opportunity? This marks the first time the FDA has admitted that cannabis has medical value, specifically to treat some serious epilepsy disorders. Under 1970's Controlled Substance Act, the cannabis plant and its products have been labeled Schedule I substances, making this illegal in all circumstances. As part of the label, Congress, not scientific or medical experts, determined that cannabis has no accepted medical use, cannot be used safely, even under medical supervision, and has high abuse potential. Approving Epidiolex directly refutes the legal basis for the absolute prohibition of cannabis in the United States. With that being said, the approval of Epidiolex does not legalize medical cannabis, nor does it authorize the 30 states that have approved medical cannabis programs. In fact, it doesn't even legalize CBD. The law continues to hold the vast majority of those substances illegal, the only exception being products developed from industrial hemp, as per the 2014 Farm Bill. Despite this approval, the FDA's finding that the drug is safe and effective, Epidiolex remains a Schedule I substance. Another action is still required to bring this product to market. The FDA, in conjunction with the Justice Department, must take another historic step, rescheduling a cannabis-based compound. Since the 1970s, federal regulators have denied rescheduling petitions for cannabis. The decision to approve this drug effectively forces their hand on rescheduling, and given GW Pharmaceuticals' assessment of the drug's abuse potential, demonstrating it to be low, Epidiolex may be rescheduled from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 or 4.
Yeah, man. Well, I think to me, this Epidiolex, it sounds like a great idea, and I'm happy to hear that the FDA, which is a piece of shit, Food Drug Administration, motherfucking assholes, cocksuckers, motherfuckers, been poisoning us for fucking years, You think fucking Roy Rogers didn't know about that shit? And the old Colonel, huh? Those guys been poisoning us and pumping us full of that pumped up Oscar Mayer baloney for fucking years, man. And let me tell you this fucking FDA shit and this marijuana thing, I like the fucking idea. I like the whole thing. But you know what? It's going to be a matter of time before that FDA shit is like, oh, well, this marijuana is too fucking pure. It's too natural. Let's pump this fucking dioxide or diloxide, whatever those pills, Klonopin bullshit into it. I don't fucking trust those cunts. You know what I mean? And you want to talk about finances and all that shit. The fucking marijuana is on the stock exchange. So people want to look into that. And it's very high to buy now, but I'd still say buy high because it's not going to get any lower than the fucking it is right now. Let me tell you this. The FDA, I smoke weed all day. I don't think I can articulate this more than the advocate pot guys that are out there who can speak on this more elegant than I ever could. But I am a pot smoker. I smoke weed and shit. And I do believe that it can help with other addictions, because I don't understand when people sometimes, but that's just me, when it's like, oh man, I'm addicted to these pills and all. I'm like, dude, just smoke fucking weed and it's natural. Like I said, warning. Like I said, this is for adult audience only and shit. But Sec, I don't know, man. Like, what do you think on this whole thing? I know you're not too much keen on the pot situation, but
I mean, I think if it helps people, that's good. Yeah, that's a positive thing. Yeah, I mean, they should go for it. I just
exactly. No,
yeah,
that's what
I
I'm
really
saying.
don't know much about CBD. Like, I've heard of CBD oil,
Right.
and stuff like that.
No, and it does help, and I've heard other people talk about in terms of other options. Like Jesse Ventura was one guy that I heard he was in the Joe Rogan podcast, and he mentioned that how his son suffered from seizures, and then a lot of these medications didn't help, and then one of the medications that he did help was like marijuana, like you said, CBD, all that like THC in terms of form of pills, not necessarily just smoking weed, but there was forms of THC that combats the fucking, which is kind of proven. I'm not a fucking doctor, or I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you right off the back if it's 100% proven, but that it is proven to combat symptoms of seizures in some sense. So to me, I'm a big fan of it, but I also believe that there will be just a matter of time before marijuana gets pumped up full of bullshit and some kind of drugs where it's not as natural that it is. Because I do believe that it is natural now. I believe that like, and then people go, all this hydroponic fucking, all this crossbreed shit, but still, it's fucking natural, man. It's still better than that vape fucking synthetic tobacco that people smoke. Give me the old Mary Jane. Let's move on, Zach.
In other news, Lakers set sights on LeBron James and free agency by ABC News. NBA superstar LeBron James decided not to pick up the option on the final year of his contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers, making the 33-year-old a free agent and clearing the way for a team like the Los Angeles Lakers to sign him. Lakers brass, headed by the former NBA champion Magic Johnson, will now try to convince James to sign a contract that could be worth $152 million over 4 years in Los Angeles. The four-time MVP passed on a deal with Cleveland that would have paid him $35.6 million during the 2018 and 2019 season. James may still re-sign with the Cavaliers because they can present him with a 5-year contract, $205 million. Wow. Yeah, for 5 years, more years and more money than any other team can offer him. James can officially begin talking to teams interested in his services at 9:01 p.m. on Saturday night. Los Angeles billionaire Dr. Patrick Soonsong is a minority owner of the Los Angeles Lakers and the new owner of the LA Times. He spoke Friday to Adrian Alpert on the set of Eyewitness Newsmakers shortly after James became a free agent. He'd be an amazing addition, he said. He's still, I think, one of the most amazing athletes in basketball today. James owns 2 houses in Los Angeles, and his 13-year-old son is reportedly close to committing to attending Sierra Canyon High School in Chatsworth, California. So, yeah, looks like that's where he's going. Decision 3. Drafted 2003 by Cleveland Cavaliers, 2010 Miami Heat, 2014 back to Cleveland Cavaliers. Where will he go next? 3-time NBA champion, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, 2012, 2013, and 2016. All those years right there.
LeBron James. I'd really like to touch up on this subject right quick. LeBron James, the guy, the GOAT, the greatest of all times when it comes to the NBA now, right? In this day and age. Now, I know we're in this World Cup right now, 2018. People go talk about your Ronaldos and your Messis and, I don't know, there's De Bruyne's, your Belgium, your English guys over there from Liverpool, the best that they have in the business, right? In Europe. I'll tell you this. When it comes down to America, you give us the NFL. You give us the old NHL, guys with the teeth knocked out, old school shit, right? And then you want to talk about the NBA, the greats, the absolute greats. Now, if you want to talk about America, we say the greatest athletes in America. Because in NFL, you get this guy, he's like 360 pounds, 6'3". He's considered an athlete only in America, you know what I mean? But these NBA guys, forget about the NBA guys. They're out there 6'6", 7'1". Shaquille O'Neal, fucking monsters, you know what I mean? LeBron James is absolutely worth every penny they can throw at him. Now, when it comes down to him, people go LeBron James versus Jordan, LeBron James versus Jordan all the time. And you have to understand, man, these were different generations. Now, you talking about like back then they had John Stockton and Karl Malone. You had like Magic Johnson, Showtime Lakers. You had all these greats, Mark Price and everything. The great Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and don't forget about the Knicks. The Knicks, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Anthony Mason, when John Starks fucking dunked on Jordan, right? Greatest fucking moment as a Knicks fan. But you have to understand this. You really think that when you talk about that generation versus this generation, holy shit, my friend. I know people don't want to hear it. None of this is that old story, Jordan versus LeBron, who will win, who would win. I mean, I'll tell you this. Jordan is one of the very few guys that can hold up in this generation of the NBA. This high-flying, fast-paced generation of the NBA. It's the greatest NBA you've ever seen. I'm telling you. And I'm telling you this. I'm a fucking hard ass. I'm a kind of a stick in the mud. I'm the kind of guy who was like, hey, look, man, I I like old school stuff. I like everything old. I hate the new shit. When it comes down to fucking music, when it comes down to sports, give me the old time rock and roll, like Bob Seger said, right? No, not when it comes to this NBA, man. You can't fucking deny it. You can't deny it. Here's the thing: when Jordan 1-on-1, is he better than LeBron James? That's up for the critics. But I'll tell you this: there's certain guys that can hold up. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, 100%. But not everybody. Not everybody. Because let's be honest, this talent that they have right now in the NBA, which is the booming talent, it's the greatest talent I think personally we've ever seen, right? But you got guys like Russell Westbrook. You think Mark Price? You think John Stockton? John Stockton is great. He's the number one in assists. One of the greatest point guard, top 5. If you don't have him in your Mount Rushmore of point guards, then you don't know shit about basketball. But that being said, it's weird. That being said, this John Stockton is established. He's the guy. He's the fucking GOAT. But could he go 1-on-1 against Russell Westbrook? Really? Come on. Can this guy go 1-on-1 against fucking Kyrie Irving and shit? I mean, come on, guy. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not fucking buying that. I believe that Jordan will still be the guy if he was in the NBA right now, coming up, doing this thing. But this fucking LeBron James is a fucking freak of nature. He's a freak of nature. And he's the kind of guy, legit, who won with a bunch of bums, and he's been doing that his whole fucking career. Yeah, people talking about the Miami time with LeBron, Wade, and all of that shit, And he had Bosh, and he did that decision, which was a bad move. A lot of people said, they danced. He was like, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. That whole thing, right? It didn't look good on him. But who cares? Get your money. I'm a capitalist. Get your money, LeBron, and everybody else to get their money. And somebody's got to dethrone these fucking Golden State Warriors with that babyface Curry and all the shenanigans that they got going on over there. But and let me tell you something. That Steve Kerr is just like another thing with these great coaches. People talk about Phil Jackson. Oh yeah, they inherited a great fucking team when he with the Chicago Bulls in the '90s and the Lakers. They inherited a great team, but are they the greatest coaches? I'll tell you what the great coach is. The current coach they got from the Boston Celtics, and I don't even know his name. And that's how you know he's good. Those guys made it to the playoffs deep and shit, but with all their stars injured. And they still made it there. But that's the Celtics. That's the Celtics' pride. It goes back a long time ago. The lineage of the great teams. I can't emphasize on the greatness of the World Cup, of the Maradona in the hands of God, or Ronaldo, and Messi, and all the great guys out there, and fucking, I don't know, fucking the guy who dated the Spice Girl. You know what I mean? I don't know about those dudes, right? Not as much, right? Because I try to be inclined to sports, but not as much. But the NBA, my friend, greatest athletes of all time. You want to talk about Beckham. Bill Russell. Yeah, David Beckham, his name was, right. Yeah. But you want to talk about the Bill Russell. You want to talk about the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and shit, man. And back then when these, like Red Auerbach, and this guy was like smoking cigars and coaching on the sidelines, if you will, But LeBron, in terms of he's gonna go to LA, that's the rumor. And then I don't want to like make this Lobo Show radio segment. That's not what we do over here. But this is history right here, man, that we're talking about, and this is gonna echo with the time, with the Lobo's thoughts on LeBron James' situation right now, because he is the greatest player in America, the greatest athlete in America. People talk about Tom Brady. Come on. The fucking guy's got a whole fucking like 8 people that's getting paid millions of dollars to protect him, to make sure he doesn't get hit. LeBron James is not going out there. He's going to get hit. He's going to get abused. And I hope he's listening to this right now, man. The guy is the greatest fucking athlete in our country, in America, United States of America, without a doubt. And he never went out for the max contract. He always tried to go out there and try to get a contract where everybody else is getting paid, so he can have a good team around him, which is a smart move. But now this time right here, going to LA, the lineage, the Magic Johnsons, you know what I mean, the James Worthies and shit, dude, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Elgin Baylors, the Bob Cousies. You know what I mean? I mean, this it's now or never. And for him to win a championship in LA will put him up there with the rest of those guys, you know, the Jerry West, the logo of the NBA. And to me, I mean that's what they're saying he's gonna do. That's what's gonna happen most likely. Time will tell. But I just feel like I said though, dude, there's no disrespect to the Larry Birds out there. There's no disrespect to the old school guys out there. But come on though, man. There's some guys that can ball and they can hold like who can play with these guys. Like I said, Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird all fucking day. But I don't know if Charles Barkley, I don't know how good he'll do against Andre Drummond or Carl Anthony Towns, but that's open for a debate. Like I said, Steph Curry, dude, who's seen guys shoot from fucking half court like that? There's no doubt about it. This is the Golden State fucking era. We'll see what happens next. James Harden, he's a great player, but LeBron James, like I said, these are the guys that are moving it this forward. And I said the greatest athletes in America, my personal opinion. I know Lovo show tonight, it's all over the place, but that's what I totally believe. Let's move on, Zach.
And finally, 51 years ago today, a trial in England wrapped up after a drug bust at Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards' home. No real drugs were actually found, and singer Mick Jagger had only 4 amphetamine pills. But they were both still convicted and sentenced to prison. Mick Jagger for 3 months and Keith Richards for a year. They would spend just 2 days in prison before their convictions were thrown out.
No fucking shit. The Rolling Stones spent time in prison? Holy shit. 2 days? And this today?
Yeah.
And today? They're like, oh, fuck on, mate. You got the fucking wild clap. Bloody old mate. I got a fucking prison. Yeah, you know what? Oh shit, that's fucking pretty hardcore. See, I'm a Stones guy. I know you don't like the Stones because you're like I told you, you're like a Chris Cornell guy all day, right? I think to me, Heapsack, I think that's some really cool rock star shit. I mean, here's the thing: you hear about these celebrity mugshots, right? And you hear about these guys that all these rock stars. Yeah, they got arrested. You know, got arrested for pissing on the Alamo. 2 hours later, they're back on the streets and shit. But you're telling me right now that the Rolling Stones fucking spent time in prison, even if it was 36 hours. They spent time in jail. Is that what you're saying? Today.
Yes, sir. 51 years ago today, they were convicted.
Convicted for what?
Well, when they searched his home, they didn't find any heroin or cocaine, but there was amphetamine pills and stuff like that. And I think they just wanted, because back in 60s, right? Yeah, this is 1967. This happened. Times were really different. Like nowadays, man, with the pharmaceutical.
I think I remember that shit. I think apparently it was like he was like banging some broad. You know how it was with the Stones, especially in the 60s.
Oh yeah,
I think it was like banging some broad that was like underage. But I think David Bowie called like like that's my broad. I'm just gonna he like fucking snitched or some shit. You know what I mean?
Really? Wow. So this was like I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, David Bowie apparently was like, I mean, here's the thing, like Big Jagger was like banging David Bowie's broad, but apparently, I don't know, they're both homos. You know how that goes, dude. It was like some other shit, man. This is fucking like the Rolling Stones. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm talented musicians, but those British cunts were fucking total homos. I mean, all those fucking rock stars back in those fucking days. Come on. Any of those guys that fucking wore makeup back in those days were fucking Marys. They were pony boys.
I'm not too familiar with the Rolling Stones. I really don't know a single song from
Really? You got to be fucking shitting me. Because here's the thing. I'm
sure I've heard it.
I'm not trying to make a bit out of it.
Like I must have
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I'm not going to lie to you, right? The Stones, to me, probably was the greatest rock band of all time. They do hold up. They have a lot of good music. But here's the thing. If you don't care about their personal life, then they're probably the greatest rock band of all time. But the only reason I don't shout loud about the Stones is because I do know about their personal life, and a lot of their personal life consists of sleeping with dudes. So it's just like, ugh.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, but here's the thing: if people say think I'm a liar, they can call me out on it. But we all know the fucking truth. That fucking Angie, you know what I mean? That song. Apparently, I don't know, man. I heard this song was called. It was about a guy named Angelo, but who knows? Get the fuck out of here. These fucking Rolling Stone guys. Oh, bloody all might. Oh, we got fucking locked up. I'll tell you this. That Johnny Cash got locked up for some shit. You know what he did? He's like, you know what I'll do? You know what I'll do, boy? I'll just do a concert. And they fucking just did a fucking concert and it was all good and he made an album out of it. You know what I mean? Like fucking bullshit. Cut the crap. You know?
Yeah.
So we really fucking do this ever. We do have a call here tonight from Bill from Sheboygan. Bill, hey Bill, you're live here on the Lobo Show. What's up, Bill?
Dia, have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Bill. We appreciate that. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was the greatest fucking segment in podcast, the nightly news. What he said. It is, folks. It's all out there. It's always glory. Seriously. We hope that we don't get kicked off from the old YouTube. But I just want to I want to embrace the rap music nowadays and shit. You know what I'm talking about, man? The rap music. It's like I feel like back then we came from the fucking the lyrics and shit. Man, when rap was lyrics, rap was music and shit, man. But now it's like you don't need it anymore, right? It's like, I mean, here's the thing. I came from the era, man. Biggie, Tupac, pal. It's not that anymore, is it?
No, sir. Not no more.
I see a guy with like a fucking pink hair and tattoos in his face, and he's talking about he's the king of New York. You know what I'm talking about? The king of New York on my watch.
He ain't no Frank White.
On my watch.
Mm-mm.
On my watch, I'm trying to say. Yeah, I listen to him, right? He says he's from New York and shit. I never heard of the guy. I mean, I just heard his thing. Oh, Lobos, you never heard of him. I mean, his thing, right? But, I don't know. I'm not fucking feeling the fucking guy and shit, y'all. Like, who is this dude? I'm saying, I thought I was a rap guy, and I kind of was, and I was like, I listened to it, New York, rap shit. But this guy says from New York, but I see this guy with pink hair and tattoos in his face. What's going on with that? And also, what's going on with this kid I hear about who just got killed in some shit? He must kind of be a big deal in something, right?
Yeah, that kid that just passed away, XXX Tentacion. I think that's how you say his name.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the story on
It
this
was
guy?
crazy. I mean, they got two of the guys that were involved. One of the guys has 22 felonies,
The
which
fuck
is
out.
crazy.
Well, they finally caught this cunt, though, right? Fucking
I think
piece of
there's
shit.
one more guy that is out there, or maybe two, but they did catch
We'll
a
get 'em in a
couple
minute.
of them already.
I mean, if they got, somebody's gonna fucking talk, and even if it's truth or not, but somebody's gonna fucking talk. I'll tell you that shit. Somebody knows something.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing, though, right? This King of New York guy, what's up, man? What's the story in this guy?
Yeah. Well, here's the story. I guess his father passed away. He's seen his father pass away in front of him or something. I guess his father got killed, shot. I really don't know the whole story. That's why I don't want to, quote it. But yeah, and then he wanted just to do this music thing, and now he's claiming to be the king of New York, Frank White.
Right.
See, people don't get it. Like, we're in New York.
Right.
We see what's going on, with this whole thing. And I don't really understand it either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too long on this, man. But I'll tell you this fucking rap shit. We came from one generation, and now it's some totally different shit. But people are not gonna like what I'm gonna say right now. I'll tell you this: we came from a fucking generation of lyricists and great minds to I don't know what it is now. We get this fucking all these I don't know what to say, pal.
Whoa, Vicky.
Listen, dude, we got this girl out here, right? It's I mean, dude, it's fucking hilarious. Like we gotta do like these people like they get claim the fame off of the Instagram. They get claim the
What
fame.
about that other guy, that Lil Pump? That
Oh
guy
my
just
God.
bought a $1.8 million pinky ring, and he's
Right.
17.
Really,
It's
17.
crazy.
Right, and here's the thing, right? Are they getting any credibility through their lyrics? Or are they just like what are they getting
they're
credibility
terrible.
off of? Right.
I mean, that Lil Pump performed at Jimmy Fallon's late night show.
Oh, I
and,
bet. I bet.
It was just terrible because there's no real band there. It's just him on stage, and he's not that good. I don't know. I mean, no disrespect, but yeah, I don't know. He ain't no DMX. He can't just be on the stage by himself.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course he couldn't. Well, like I said though, man, it is what it is. Like I don't know. I don't know if we can even go too far in it. I don't want to like go in too much into it. I don't. It's just like when you see people coming out there and just like there's no credibility involved, and they go, "No, we get it. There's no credibility involved, but you don't get it. It's just like it's a show." Then let's just all admit that it's a show. You know what I mean? Like the Lobo show. Let's just fucking not take it too serious, and let's fucking call it a day, right? Holy shit! If you guys are listening this long, we thank you. This is the Lobo show. It sounds like we're high and drunk, but we're not that yet. Maybe in a couple of hours we will be. We appreciate you guys listening. For the Lobos, for Heapsack, any last words? Anything? Come on. Top of your head? Nothing you want to promote?
Just the Twitter, obviously. Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys listening, showing up. Don't get it twisted.
Make sure you follow us.
Follow us on Twitter at the Lobo Show.
Right.
Like, sub, comment, and if you think that we suck, tell us that you think we suck. Don't be a pussy about it. All right. That being said, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're gonna get some pizzas, some scungillies, some what do you think? A couple of fucking Dasani waters. Who the fuck knows? Sparkling water. The Lobo Show, boys. Hey, holla at us. See ya. Bye.